What's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? What's good? We about to get started in a second. We about to get started right now. Let me get this post right quick. I already got everything set up. All I gotta do is add the link. What's good? What's good? Who in the chat? Who live? Who locked in? Boom. What's good with y'all? What's good? What's good? We about to get started right now in a second. We about to get started right now. First and foremost, before we get started, man, I know a lot of y'all be small guards. Just to give y'all a little update about how we about to start streaming going forward with the NBA season just starting. So what we're gonna do, every live stream is gonna be specifically for y'all, right? Meaning that I know a lot of y'all are guards. A lot of y'all are smaller guards, right? When I say smaller guards, it still is like 6'2", 6'3". That's even still considered a small guard because when it comes down to players nowadays, a lot of them be like 6'6", 6'7", like, you know what I'm saying? 6'8", 7 foot. You never know, right? So when it comes down to that, that's still considered being a small guard. So what we're gonna do on Saturdays is that we're gonna be breaking small guard skills. We're gonna be breaking down small guard players, right? So Donovan Mitchell, Payton Pritchard, Trae Young, Isaiah Thomas, even like any guard play, Stephen Curry, a lot of those dudes. We're gonna be breaking down those players and those skills so that y'all could get better, so that y'all could begin to see improvement. So that's what we're about to be doing today. We got Donovan Mitchell and we got Payton Pritchard. We about to be locked in. We're about to start dropping. We're gonna be dropping straight gems, just gems about how to dominate and how to control the game as a small guard. So mind you, if there are any other players y'all would want to start watching, any other players that y'all recommend, let me know. Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat, and I'll definitely take a look at those players. Mind you, players like TJ Shorts, you know what I'm saying, and maybe possibly even players like that. You know, the small guards, because there's skills within their game that a lot of y'all don't really recognize that you need to begin to pick up on so that you can actually improve your game. So first week, Saturday, and then throughout the week, we're also going to just be I'm going to break down some stuff off stream, you know what I'm saying, just to get y'all some updates, you know, some breakdowns as the season's going along and whatnot. So yeah, man, we're about to be breaking that stuff down. Tyrese Maxey, that's another guard. That's also a player that's on my seasonal watch list. So like I have like a list of players I'm watching through, or like I look at like on the day-to-day. I just pay attention to like, oh, how this player play, how that player play. I'm just been taking a look at all of them, and each time they play, boom, and then, you know, I may make a breakdown. And Maxey been going crazy. Like, he's averaging what, 35 right now, or he had 26 the other night, but so his average probably dropped a little bit. I know he was at 37, 38, so he's probably at like 34 or something like that. But it's crazy. Like, he's playing like 40 minutes a night though, which is like, I don't know if he's probably not going to be able to sustain that for an entire season. But nonetheless, the amount he's been scoring as a guard is just insane. Like, it's crazy. Efficient buckets. Not like, oh, I'm running around and just taking a bunch of inefficient shots. No, he's straight to it. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, man. Yeah. You about to be breaking that down. Let me drink some water real quick. And what we're gonna watch first is Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell's gonna be the first breakdown. How many of y'all in here are considered a small guard? How many of y'all are small guards? Like, when I say small guard, I'm talking like just 6'3" and under, or you're projected to be a small guard. Like, you're on that route. Like, you're in that range. The boy, Lumi Prime. Okay. How many of y'all? Because like I said, I'm about to start dropping gems. Smenga. Okay. Got another one. Boom. Got 3 people off rip, small guards. That's nearly a majority. Some of y'all probably not even typing. So, boom, we probably got another like 3. So that means, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got a good number of people in here. 5, 6. Bro, there's always room for anybody to be able to thrive in basketball. It's just about building the right skills. It's about building the right skills and knowing what to like incorporate into your game. So, man, small but my handles are not up to par. That's an issue too, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have that handle. You gotta have the handle, and you gotta have the mindset, and you gotta have the skill set. But what I'm about to break down this first video, you don't even need a handle for it. You don't even need a handle for this, right? This is a skill as to which it's like it's always gonna put you in the back of your coach's mind, right? It's a skill as to which all small guards have. Like if y'all begin to just even think of a bunch of small guards, like any one of them, they all could shoot. They all could shoot. And I'm not just talking like, oh, just regular spot up shots. They know they could hit spot up shots, and they know how to play off the ball if needed and if necessary, depending on the system, right? Just depending on the system. So what we're going to break down this first video, right? Alicia, 5'9", okay, another small guard. What we're going to break down this first video, right, is how Donovan Mitchell, right? This is crazy because I even posted on my story. Quick question, who do y'all think's better, Donovan Mitchell or Jalen Brunson? Who do y'all think's better? Like, as a player, as an individual, who do y'all think is better, Donovan Mitchell or Jalen Brunson? Because I sat there and I was like, I don't know what people would say. And I posted on my story. And I think it was like 62% to 38% said Donovan Mitchell. Kind of equal. The thing is, like, if you look at Donovan Mitchell's or Jalen Brunson's playoff runs, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if Donovan Mitchell did have like the pieces on his side that were experienced, and like Brunson's had for a few years in the playoffs, it'll be a different story because Donovan Mitchell always shows up. It's just that like the people he'll be running with may not like actually step up to the occasion, and he does. But then when he gets double teamed and triple teamed in the playoffs, and other dudes ain't doing what they should do, it's like, dang, like, you know, like it's just like it's a one-man wrecking crew, and he can't really do much. You know what I'm saying? It gets tough. It gets difficult. Jalen's tough too, though. I don't know. Yeah, bro, it's close. I'll give the edge in terms of skill. After I watched his first 5 games. Right, what we're about to be taking looks at are some breakdowns that I've done for my community that I'm just taking to y'all. Y'all getting like a little bite-sized portion of the stuff that I be posting in there. So after watching his first 5 games and like all of his offensive possessions, right, all of his clips, I have a bunch of concepts as to which I found and I pulled from them that's going to be able to help y'all learn, right? So same thing with Donovan Mitchell, same thing with Payton Pritchard we're about to do. So this first one with Donovan Mitchell, like this one aspect I'm about to talk about with shooting is going to be very important. But I was going to say, going back when I looked through all his clips and all his film, I'm like, wait, Donovan Mitchell's footwork is crazy crafty too. He's crazy crafty. Like there's specifically like some ISOs he would have, and then some attacks. I'm like, wait, he's also got like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's not no pivoter. Like he's not gonna pivot like a Jalen Brunson. You know, he's not gonna bump midi you. You know what I'm saying? Like Jalen Brunson will, because like when you get into those bump middies, it automatically leads to pivots, and those pivots make you look crafty. But Donovan Mitchell's craftiness is not one that's gonna use pivots. He could use his pivots, but his craftiness isn't that pivot. It's not that same mid-range style that Brunson has. His is just a little different. Like he has a whole different like swag to his game. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I was looking at him like, bro, he's really crafty too. I can't say I like them both personally. Why don't you like them personally? What did they do? What did they do? Mitchell got better athleticism, but Brunson got elite footwork. Yeah, his footwork is elite for sure. Is your community free? Nah, it's not free. It's for those who are really locked in. It's in the description. If you want to join the community, hit the top of the description. It's where I post all my breakdowns. It's where I post all the exclusive breakdowns. Right, y'all get like a little, like I said, bite-sized portions on the weekends. But like I literally have like 30 different breakdown videos that are about to drop next week in the community on Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell, Luka Doncic. I started watching Luka. He been going crazy. Luka Doncic, and then also Payton Pritchard. There's one more player. There might be one more. I don't know. I forget. But yeah, Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell, Payton Pritchard, Luka. Yeah, it was those 4 for the first couple weeks of the NBA season. Those first few weeks. And mind you, you may be like, oh, it's subscription. I don't got $49 a month. Do you realize people paid trainers for one workout, 1 hour is like $60? For one workout, for 1 hour. And you barely even get better. And you pay $60? Even if you pay somebody $20, somebody's up and coming, not charging a lot. That's 2 sessions. But you have an abundance and a plethora of content that's going to be able to train your mind and also train your game physically as well with the workout programs that I have in the community. It's really a much higher investment, like in terms of what you're going to get back, in terms of where you're trying to get to. You got to understand, like you got to begin to understand, like, oh, is this actually an investment and this actually helping me? Is this not? I'm telling you, it's really an investment. It's really an investment. But Jalen Dallas, he didn't get to the shot. Watch his feet where he gets into the shot. It's too hard to pick. Yeah, it is a tough pick. You got some advice with lust for me? It's like I can go a week without it and then just slip up. You got to get filled with the Spirit. That's all I could say. You got to get filled with the Spirit. That requires discipleship. It requires knowledge and understanding and all that. But nonetheless, that's what there's even a lot of people who are believers as well within the community that I coach on a day-to-day basis. It's discipleship. You got to like some people believe, but they don't understand the power of God and haven't fully surrendered, which is why you're still stuck in sin cycles. But that's a whole conversation for a different day. So, but nonetheless, like I said, I'll say this though. The way you get rid of lust is by focusing more on God, by focusing more on Jesus. It's not, you don't change your behavior, you change what you focus on. You change your mind. And then as you focus on him, he'll change your heart. So now you no longer are pulled back to that thing. But it gets deep. It's junior year. It depends on your skill level. You could be able to get onto the team and whatnot and just be able to learn, just grow within the game. If you don't try to put so much pressure on yourself, I think it's definitely possible. Depends on your situation and who you may be competing with, how much you've played before. But if you build your game the right way and you focus on the right things, you could do so. I believe so. 10-10-10 method, then pray. I don't know what the 10-10-10 method is. I just seek the face of Jesus. But yeah, but nonetheless, let's get started on this breakdown though. Let's get started on this breakdown because this is something I need y'all to take note of. I need every single one of y'all watching right now to take note of this as a small guard. Right now in the season, understand, Donovan Mitchell is averaging 28 points. He has a total of 140 points on the season. But 31 of those points, 31, that's practically an entire game. They've played 5 games. So that's practically an entire game. More than a fifth of his average has come off this one skill, which is playing off the spot up. I want you to notice how being able to play off the spot up is going to actually open up your game and add another what's the word for it? Another branch of scoring, right? Another branch of scoring to your game. Meaning that, okay, you're going to score some off pick and roll. You're going to score some off isolation. You're going to score some on transition. Now you can score some on spot up, right? And so that's about 20% of the points that he scored, right? Over 20% as a matter of fact. And so when it comes down to scoring, this is something you have to add into your game so that you can be so much of an offensive threat that even though you're small guard and you may not be able to guard every single position, you have so much production on the offensive end that your coach can't say, oh, I should not put him in the game. This is something you need to add into your game in order for you to be able to get to that spot, right? It's being able to play off the spot up. Is being able to play off the spot up. And so what we're going to take a look at is how well skilled Donovan Mitchell is when it comes to playing off the spot up, how easy it is for him when it comes to playing off the spot up, and why you need to be able to build your game by playing off the spot up. This is really fundamental, but a lot of people skip it because they see the highlight buckets. They see the highlight plays. You see them and you're like, oh, I got to start doing that, but you get deceived. You fall into the wrong game. And now what do you end up doing? You now build your game from the top down instead of from the bottom up. Listen to that again. You build your game from the top down instead of the bottom up. Meaning that when you build your game from the bottom up, you start at the base and the foundation, right? You start at the bottom and then you add layers. It's like a building. You can't build a building starting from the top floor. You have to build the building starting from the bottom, the foundation, the fundamentals. And when you start at the fundamentals, then you could add layers. You could add more of the complex things to your game. The ability to create off the dribble, the ability to now have different different moves into your bag, being able to read through different coverages and a whole bunch of little stuff. You have to start at the foundation though, where it's spot up basketball. Being able just to simply catch and shoot the ball, being able to play without the basketball, being able to know how to make the right passes, being able to do all the little things, the basic things, the triple threat, knowing how to use basic moves, not trying to layer moves before you have that first layer done and solid and not in like and really good, right? So what we're going to break down is one of the fundamental layers of skill sets in your game, which is the spot up game, right? So like I said, Donovan Mitchell scored 31 points out of his 140 throughout this entire season, playing off of the spot up thus far in his first 5 games. That is over 20% of his points. And so now notice why you got to add this as a small guard, right? And not just spot up threes, right? What you're going to see here is how the Cavs even have a whole entire set ran for him, right? Boom, Dean Wade on the screen. Now you see Jared Allen on the screen. What is this going to be? What is this for, right? What is Donovan Mitchell going to do? He's going to be right there, curl off to the corner, and he's going to take a moving three going down to the corner, and he's going to be able to knock it down, right? He's going to be able to knock it down. Right? And understand, he gets the set run for him because he is a threat in this area. You don't get a set run for you unless you're really a threat. Right? When the coach draws up a set, they know you could do something at a high clip. Like it's almost a guaranteed bucket's going to get you a really good look. Donovan Mitchell is so good at playing off the spot up, right? He's so good at playing off the spot up. He gets this shot here, a moving three going to the corner. This shot right here for Donovan Mitchell is easy money. You put him in the gym shooting this shot, he's going to knock it down at least an 80% clip. Another situation right here, right? Boston, again, going against Boston. Boom, cut by Hunter, comes off this first screen to the top, moving three, right? Going right, left. Right, he ends up missing that one nonetheless, but understand they're drawing up plays for him to shoot on the move, right? Sideline out of or baseline out of bounds again, right? You got Donovan Mitchell coming to that corner, curl, shot, fade, bucket, both going over both shoulders. He just went right, left, and he went left, right, and he knocked him down. And like I said, if you put him in the gym shooting this shot, he hitting this at an 80 to 85% clip at least, minimum, right? And probably going game speed. He's probably going to round this out about 80%. 4 out of every 5 shots he's knocking down, shooting these shots on the move at game speed. Like, and I'm not talking, oh, you're taking your time, a full-on sprint, getting to where you are, getting your feet set. Because mind you, in the corners in the NBA, it's hard to shoot a three because you have very little room. You have very little room right here. And so the ability just to simply do this will then be able to build your ability to hit tough shots off the dribble, right? Which is why you got to start at this foundation, right? Notice how he's going to be able to play off the spot up, right? Lonzo Ball got the rock at the top, right? Donovan Mitchell slips out, boom. Reverse pivot footwork from the three-point line. That's the type of stuff you got to add before you begin to try to get a step back. You got to really pay attention, right? These type of footworks. These footworks first beginning, of course, just know like the basic standstill stuff to start. And then you begin to add these little shooting stuff, these shooting footworks and movements, right? Look, catch, right? Caught on his right foot, left, right, turned and got squared, going straight up into a shot over the top of a player who's about 6'7", right? Probably 6'7", 6'8", boom, knocked it down. Bucket, right? So mind you, here, baseline out of bounds, or sideline out of bounds. Threw that into Mobley, catch, boom, step right into a shot, right? Bucket. I'm trying to tell y'all, right? I'm trying to tell y'all. Notice, this is game footwork, game speed. Off the catch, another bucket, right? Transition. Notice here, you got boom, Proctor right here. Donovan Mitchell, notice, calling for the ball on the weak side. This really makes his entire game so much easier, right? Put his hands up, he got 1 and 2 on the ball, right? Payton Pritchard, my mouse tweaking out. Right there, Payton Pritchard, and then he's got Derek White on the ball, right? So boom, calling for the ball. He throws that skip, catch, straight into a shot. 29 feet, bucket. That's light work. That's light work for him. This is why he's able to average 30 in the regular season and in the playoffs as well. He could average 30 in any given series, right? Unless they're double teaming, triple teaming the whole time, it's gonna make it very tough. But he could give you 30 in the playoffs easily as well. Why? Because he has this. That's tough. Quick feet, get set, get the ball, knock it down. That's another 3, right? Over here, another situation. Mind you, he's not even on the ball at this point. He's over here. Donovan Mitchell is over here. Weak side corner. If you're a small guard, you shouldn't need the ball to always be a threat. And if you need the ball to always be a threat, that's an issue. That's an issue. That's going to stop you from being able to get on the floor. Right? That's going to stop you from getting on the floor straight up. Because there's one basketball and 5 players. If you're only a threat when you have the ball in your hand, you're not going to be able to stay on the floor. Simple as that, which is why you got to add this in, right? So boom, Donovan Mitchell, weak side corner, holding spacing, kick, boom, get his feet set, knock it down. That stuff is what you got to work on. Notice how quick he's able to get his feet set, get into a shot off the catch, right? Right foot set down. Notice how he's going to get his feet set. Y'all need to learn this footwork in the corner. Notice how his right foot is set, right? And then after on this catch, he's going to, boom, bring that left foot in. He kind of slightly moves that right? But nonetheless, get straight up into a shot. You got to learn how to step laterally into your shot from the corner, right? And when I mean laterally, I mean, say you have the right foot set, right? You have this foot set, and then you have this foot out here, and then you got to move this in just ever so slightly so that you can get that foot underneath your frame so you can get up, right? Laterally. Not where one foot is here, right? And then you have another foot back here, and you're stepping into your shot like that. You got to be able to dribble or got to be able to step into your shot with that lateral stepping from the corners. That's the key. That lateral stepping, right? Things like this are really like it's the little details, it's the little stuff, right? So boom, knock down again, right? Watch him how he's going to be able to be on the ball, then get off the ball, and when he gets off the ball, he's not even going to rush to get the ball back, right? Because he's still a threat. So boom, kicks that to Dean Wade, bad pass, step into his shot from that wing, boom, right there, another bucket, knocked it down. Right, I'm trying to tell you, this is in his skill set. Look at this, off a make. A lot of y'all don't realize you could turn made shots into transition opportunities. Why? Because still, although you're taking the ball out, right? Although you're taking the ball out, the defense still has to make their way, right, back to the other side of the floor. He has to get back to the other side of the floor. He has to get back to the other side of the floor. They all still have to get back. They all still have to get back. So when it comes down to being able to play and get to your spots, right? Donovan Mitchell, he's comfortable playing off the ball. He's comfortable letting another teammate bring the ball up and him holding spacing and letting another teammate cook. He's comfortable doing that. Why? Because like I said, this is over 20% of his buckets on the season. Over 20%. The other teammate runs a pick and roll, right? He ends up getting 2 on the ball because understand, right? You had a hard hedge happen right here. Let's go back. Let's break this down. Let's break this pick and roll down, as a matter of fact, right? Brooklyn running this hard hedge. This is where it's actually your benefit to not be on the ball. Your coach telling you not to have the ball in your hands is really to your benefit because he's trying to set you up for things like this, right? So pay attention. You come off a screen, right? Boom, hard hedge happens. Now, with the second that this hard hedge is triggered, that means you have one person on the ball and then you have the second person here on the ball. Yeah, right? Get what I'm saying? Understand. So now 2 players on the ball. This player is going to have to run and get his way back to Allen, but in that meantime, somebody's going to have to cover for him. And now that's Williams right here, right? Williams right here. So boom, he's going to have to stay plugged on that. And where is he coming from, right? He's coming from Donovan Mitchell over here in this corner. So what does that mean? That this player cannot really leave until this player gets back. Until that player gets back, he can't go. He's still stuck exactly where he is. So in the meantime, what's going to happen from Proctor, right? Pay attention, right? He gets past his hard hedge. He makes a swing to Dean Wade. And now Dean Wade is going to make a quick swing to guess who? Donovan Mitchell in that corner, who is now wide open from 3, having this long closeout, and he's able to shoot this and be unfazed and knock it down from the corner. It's really to your benefit to add this to your game because, like I said, there's one ball, there's 5 players. Let's do the numbers. That means that if it's 100% of time of total possession on offense, on average, you'll have the ball for 20%. So why would you build your game according to the 20% and not work on that other 80%? Explain. Why? It's not smart. It is not wise. It is not wise, right? It's smarter to work on the 80% because it's the majority, right? Am I tweaking? Isn't that just logical? Because someone just think real quick. Like you're 80% of offense, 80% of the time, just on average, you're going to spend, right, without the basketball in your hand. And the 20%, you're going to have the ball in your hand. So why work on skills so much that are all based upon having the ball in your hand? I just need somebody to explain. I need somebody. Does it make sense? Someone let me know. Does that make sense or does it make sense? I need somebody to let me know. Because I don't know if I'm tweaking. Let me read the chat real quick. Yep. Logie's fan, it's a bar. What's up, fan? Big fan. Watch it for a while. I'm trying to... Amen. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the support. But like I said, bro, it don't make sense. It really don't make sense. Now you're going to probably be like, oh, why am I working on this all the time? I should work on things that's going to be the majority of offense. Because when you work on the majority, it's more likely going to lead you to succeeding. That 80%. These skills right here is that 80%. right? This skill right here, being able to play off the spot up. Like I said, stepping in laterally into your shot. Boom, swing, quick into the shot, bucket. Trying to tell y'all. Boom, another situation. Off a transition, off a miss, right? He's running his lane. He doesn't need to get the ball, right? Proctor at the top. Notice what ends up happening. Notice what happens with Mobley. Pay attention, right? Pay attention. Proctor gets here. Mobley cuts in. Boom, post up on Yemen, right? Post up on Yemen. So what ends up happening at this point in time? Michael Porter Jr. sees this mismatch right here, and he sees this angle for a lob pass to Evan Mobley. So what is he going to do? He's going to come over and help. And so now who is he helping off of? Donovan Mitchell. And this is why you got to be prepared, because what happens when a defender is going to help off of you to be able to stop another one of your teammates? Are you going to be ready to be able to knock down that shot? Are you going to? Did you work on it? Did you prepare for it? That becomes a question. So now, boom, Porter Jr. helps in. He tags, skip to Donovan Mitchell in the corner, and he's just going to go and do what? Knock down the spot up three, because he's trained his game to have that in. Right? He's trained his game to have that in. Next possession right here, Donovan Mitchell, starting with the ball over here at the top, starting with the rock, initiates the play, throws it to Larry Nance. This is where y'all as guards, a lot of y'all going to be in this situation right here. I want y'all to pay attention. This is y'all, right? This is where y'all going to be. Right? You're going to be at the top of the key. You may be a point guard, right? You may initiate a play. But understand what's going to happen after you initiate a play. You have to remain a threat, right? Donovan Mitchell throws us to Larry Nance Jr., right? Boom. Throws us to Larry Nance Jr., goes to his left side, allows the play to be run. And then what ends up happening, right? Boom. Plug in, Donovan Mitchell, catch. And now he's going to be able to read that spot-up opportunity, attack the paint, and get an easy 2 points. You've got to remain a threat. You've got to remain a threat. It's as simple as that, right? It's as simple as that. Boom, that plug-in happens. Because the second this plug-in happens, he's now going to have to go recover, especially on the fact that he ended up realizing that and throwing that back to Donovan Mitchell, right? So, boom, Donovan Mitchell's able to realize that. He jumps out further to that left side of Mitchell. Now Mitchell just catches, attacks off the closeout, 2 dribbles in the paint, boom, light dunk. Easy, simple, right? Little skills like that. Attacking closeouts, you need to begin to know, because this is the 80%. You're becoming a threat when the ball isn't in your hands, because the person with the ball is pulling in the defense. Last play right here, another situation. I really want y'all to watch this. I want y'all to really peep game. Donovan Mitchell coming up from this corner, right? Coming up from this corner, right? So now notice, you got Proctor over here. He's going to come and set a screen. He's going to set this little back screen. Pay attention, right? He goes up, sets the screen. They switch, right? Understanding that they switch, understanding that he now has a defender on his top side, what is now going to be the read? Should I just run up and try to force myself to get into this handoff, right? Or do I realize that there's an even better gap? Because on this weak side, you have Cade Cunningham prepared for another action. You have Tobias Harris prepared for another action to be run. And so guess what happens, right? There's no help in the entire paint. So Donovan Mitchell, running this action off the ball, is able to realize, guess what I could do? Slip out this way, right? So watch, peak game, just simple. He knows things like this, where he gets his lob pass here, layup right there at the rim. You will get yourself easy buckets. That's 31 points of his 140 on the season coming off the spot up. Y'all got to begin to learn the spot up before you learn other skills. This is over 20% of his buckets. And the only other ways you could score are isolation, pick and roll, transition, handoffs, right? And mind you, all those situations you could be able to play off of somebody from. Right? The 80%. Spot up, remember. But nonetheless, in post-ups as well. I don't know if I said post-ups, right? But those are how you could that's how you could score in basketball. So if you want to be an elite small guard, you got to begin to incorporate those skills. And if you lack those skills, you got to begin to build them. And if you don't know how to build them, I can help you build them. Right? Make sure you join the community if you're actually trying to get better. Right? This is just the micro dose of breakdowns that I have for Donovan Mitchell. That's going to be throughout this entire season. I got about like 7 already. I'm going to be watching them the entire season, and we're only 2 weeks in. And so it's going to be straight gems on small guards. It's going to be straight gems. And mind you, anything a small guard learns, it could also be learned from any other player, any other wing player, even a big, any perimeter player could use those same skills. Because now we get down to the nuances, the things that are needed, the necessities as a guard, the little things like you must incorporate this. Right? And when a bigger player may even add this into their game as well, what do you think is going to happen when they play against their competition? They're way more skilled. way more skilled. And so that's the key. If y'all actually want to get better, if anybody actually wants to get better, grow as a player, improve their game, hit the link in the description, join the community, right? Join the community. I'm even going to show y'all some of the stuff that I have in there right now, because you're like, oh, I don't know if I should do it. I don't know what's in there. I don't know if it'd be worth it. I'm just going to give y'all just a sneak peek of how it looks like, just so y'all could kind of understand and get a little visual of what the community looks like, right? So boom. Art of Isolation program, we got that right there. Mastering your system, offense, learning how to master your offensive system. This is going to be probably like about maybe 10 to 15 lessons about how to attack and how to grow in your offense, right? Boom, this is a little sneak peek right here. How to space the floor, 1 through 5. There's probably about 20 different spacings I have down here about how you could attack the floor in various situations. The ultimate guide to space the floor. And so now when you learn how to do something like this, like how to attack from a right wing balanced position, right? What do you now focus on? Your best shooter being on the left wing. Because if the best shooter is on the left wing, guess what happens? We're actually going to mark this up right here. Let's talk about it. The best shooter's on this left wing. This help defender right here has to now help a little more that way, which now allows you to get to the middle of the floor when you attack your man. And now when you get into the middle, it pulls in this help defender right here, who might be in the middle of the paint or might also be right outside the paint, depending on what level you play at. But nonetheless, right? Nonetheless, it still puts you in a position where if you pull this man in, you can still be able to get a float right there in the middle of the paint. If you now pull that in, this player comes over and steps and takes that away. That means this player in the corner is going to be open, right? Or you never know what could happen. This player may punch in, boom, now you may end up having to cut. Like, it allows you to understand how to attack the floor, right? So I literally do this for a whole, but there's a whole list of plays, a lot of plays, right? So boom, there's things like that, and it's going to literally like a whole bunch of lessons that's going to be in there. And now this is where the player breakdowns are. I have some Lou Dort stuff. I'm going to break down defense. Defensive breakdowns too. Defense, we're going to learn how to be a lockdown defender like Lou Dort. Drew Holiday as well, right? Lou Dort, Drew Holiday, right? And then, of course, Jalen Brunson, Steph Curry, Luka Doncic. About to have some breakdowns on Luka Doncic. Lou Dort, Shea, Drew, Kyrie, Donovan Mitchell, Payton Pritchard, TJ Shorts, Isaiah Thomas, Amen Thompson. That's the player I forgot. Amen Thompson. I'm going to be watching him throughout the season. And then Trae Young. And then we got the programs, the workout programs, and we got discipleship courses and everything and all this other stuff. Nutrition as well down here, right? So there's a lot of stuff where this is an actual investment into your game to where you begin to learn the things that that would take you 5 to 10 years to learn. Instead of having to go through the trials and having to go through, oh man, I have to go through this and I have to go through that and I have to actually experiment and test these things out, what you're now going to do is begin to learn from the people who already know it, like someone like me. So now when you go and play, when you now go and hoop, right, you're just doing what is right instead of having to test to see what is right. It's going to save you so much time. So the same thing that could have taken you a year to learn by yourself, you'll be able to learn in a matter of 2 weeks, maybe a month. It could take you 1 month opposed to 1 year. So imagine how much time you're going to save yourself in your game, because when it comes down to time, you can't play with time. We don't have all the time to be able to say, oh, I'm going to chase my dreams, I'm going to get my goals, I want to make it to the league and get this offer. You don't have that time. Time is passing away, and once it goes away, you can't get it back. So you got to make sure that you maximize the time that you do have going forward, your moments, your present time, so that you can be able to get to where you desire to be in the future. And so that begins with you investing into your game, investing into what you need to do, right? And mind you, vert program, this is the same program that took my vert up 10 inches. I took my vert up 10 inches with the same program, off season and in season, right? So boom, this is all the stuff that's in there. And there's going to be more players. There's going to be more players to break down. I'm literally going to be breaking them down week to week. So if you actually want to get better, I'm not trying to coach somebody who's like, don't play. Someone who actually wants to get better. Someone who actually wants to improve. And you got to ask yourself, do I actually want to get better? I ain't trying to coach somebody who's like half and half. And, oh, man, I'm going to do this. And they're tired and they don't want to be disciplined. They think the things that they want are just going to find its way to them. No, I don't want those players. If you're one of those players, cool. You don't got to join. I don't even want you to join. I'm going to keep it a bean. Rather better you save your money. It's better that you save your money, not join. If you're one of those players, I'd rather have you not join. I'm be honest. Because the people that are not actually trying to seek and trying to get better and try to grow, man, forget that. Like, you keep your money. So you're going to just save your money. All right? I don't even care about that. I care about you actually being able to grow in the ways that you desire to grow and become who you're actually called to be. That's what I care about. You walking in the fullness of your calling. That's what I care about. And I want people who are hungry for that. People who actually want to do that. People who want to be able to see real fruit in their lives. You know what I'm saying? So that's that Donovan Mitchell breakdown. We're about to do a Payton Pritchard breakdown right now. We're gonna do a Payton Pritchard breakdown, and let's see. Let's do that one right there. Let's see, right here. Boom. Let's talk about Payton Pritchard. I think I may do 2 Payton Pritchard breakdowns. We may do 2. We're gonna see, but nonetheless, got that one, and we have this one. Let's do 2. We're gonna do 2 Payton Pritchard breakdowns, right? We're gonna start off with his isolation play, right? Because as a guard, you're gonna get dribbled. You're gonna get opportunities off the dribble, right? But when you get your opportunities off the dribble, there's certain keys and certain things that you must emphasize every single time you attack, right? So one thing I've noticed, right? One thing I've noticed that separates the elite small guards from the average and the subpar small guards is how much they seek contact. Straight up, how much they seek contact, right? Because being smaller, you don't realize that although you are smaller in height, it doesn't mean you can't dislodge and make somebody off balance, although you are smaller in height and maybe a little bit too in weight, right? So when it comes down to being able to get to your spots, you can still get somebody off balance and still be able to create your space. And we see that with Payton Pritchard. He's able to do that every single time he drives, every single time he attacks. You're going to see this through his first 5 games playing with the Celtics, right? Thus far this season. You're going to see how on every isolation, every drive, how he's going to seek contact. And this right here, really, if you're a small guard and you're watching this, you clicked on this, you're just like, man, I just want to get better, right? Of course, the best thing you can do is join the community first and foremost. Hit the description, join the community. But this is one thing that you could practically apply like right now as well, that you're going to begin to see fruit off of immediately if you actually begin to apply it. Like you see this, and then now when you begin to play, when you begin to train on the court and off the court, you begin to apply it to your game, right? This is what's really going to allow you to get better. So notice how he drives and how he attacks, his angles. We're just going to talk about contact through these plays. You see Sam Hauser just got that steal, right? Payton Pritchard over here at the top. Now I want you to pay attention, right? He's about to put the ball down the floor, but I believe he's going to bring the ball out for a second. Just be patient. Let the floor get set, right? Let the floor get set. Understand, the key is spacing, right? The reason why Payton Pritchard caught the ball right here, put the ball down, and then stopped is because the floor is not set. He doesn't know what to read. He doesn't know where to go. And also, Poole had a solid closeout. So what he's going to do, he's going to wait. Boom. Brings the ball out for a second. Allows, guess what? Players like, whoa, what the heck? I don't know how that happened. I don't know what the heck. But boom. I don't know what happened to that, but that's strange. But notice, right? You got a teammate right here. Now he's getting space. Payton Pritchard bringing that ball out. You also see, is this going to tweak out again? Well, boom. You got him right here as well, right? You got him right there on that other side as well, waiting, right, and getting spaced. So what ends up happening now, Payton Pritchard, boom, gets into his attack. And now notice what happens when he's attacking Poole, right? Notice what's going to happen when he attacks Poole. Boom, gets a separation. At this point, no need to even get into contact because Poole is playing in a gap. Notice the gap that he is playing him in, right? Notice the gap. Let me try to see if I can fix this marker. I don't know what is going on. Okay, I got it. Boom. Let's get it. Okay, right here. So notice how this gap right here between him and Poole is maintained, right? So when players are trying to beat him to a spot, it shows them, okay, I can get some I already have separation, right? Notice he just got that stop, and notice the separation. There's no need to get into his body when the person guarding him is trying to get away from his body. They're just trying to stay in front. They're leaving that gap. So what does he do on this play here? Step back 3, shot. He already had separation. So boom, gets into that first shot. But now notice how he's going to continue to play downhill, right? He's going against Saddiq Bey. Saddiq Bey is probably about 6'8", right? Maybe 6'6" in that range, right? And so he's probably about 230 pounds. But notice what Pritchard does, right? Notice, right? Bump, stop, fade. Payton Pritchard is 6'1", maybe like 200 pounds, 190. He's about 6'1", 200 pounds, right? But yet he's moving somebody like Saddiq Bey, who's I think is probably like 6'6", 6'5", right? And then boom, push cross, and then what does he do? Get into his body, right? Because now get into his body gets him separation from the mid-range and doesn't lead him to go into the rim where he would end up having to shoot over, guess who? Him right there, right? So boom, he ends up getting that separation right there for that shot. Bucket, right? Continue to notice, right? Just notice as Payton Pritchard drives through these plays, how he's always going to go and seek contact. And that contact is going to be key for what's going to end up happening, right? The result of the play. Just pay attention. Transition situation here, right? Got one player on the ball. Now at this point, now get into the skip, re in the floor. Size up, attacks, gets here. Notice how he's getting physical with someone like, I believe that's Trey Murphy. Is that Trey Murphy? I don't know, but a wing, much taller wing. He drives, gets straight into his body. Gets here, gets into his body. Gets here, gets into his body. Pump fake, now he ends up going to the free throw line. Why did he bite on the pump fake on somebody who was 6'1"? Because the contact brought separation, and that separation that he created made him fall for what he was going to do. I'm trying to tell y'all got to get physical. You got to get physical. You got to seek, you got to initiate, and you got to embrace contact. That's got to always be on the forefront of your mind. Understand. Gets into his attack in the mid-range. Here, contact. Here again, contact. Here again, contact. Boom. Pump fake. Now he gets himself to the line. Why would he jump? He's 6'1". He should stay on the floor. But guess what? He got separation because of what? His contact. Let's keep going, right? Next play here, right? He's got another wing player. And mind you, all these players are practically big, like much bigger than him, right? So boom. He's at half court, got an angle to drive. He goes. He has a whole angle. Notice he could just go boom straight into the lane. But what is he gonna do instead of just trying to run and get straight into the lane? Watch this all this right here. Watch that left shoulder. Notice how it's gonna stay attached to his defender the entire time. Just watch. Staying attached. Boom. Staying attached. Boom. Even all the way down to the rim. From half court to the rim, that left arm was engaged to his defender the entire time. Watch. The second they even get in close proximity, he goes off arm active. Boom. He leans into his body. Now goes again. Leans into his body. Gets to the paint. Right? Gets to the paint. At this point, a lot of y'all just go like boom and try to go shoot the ball. But what does Payton Pritchard do at this point in time? Instead of just trying to go boom and shoot the ball. Watch what he does. Gets into his body again. He still keeps that angle against his defender. So now once he gets in him, he can now go out and finish at the rim. Contact. Seeking contact. You got to seek contact. There's no other way to be able to be effective as a guard off the dribble than seeking contact. He has Jalen Duren on him. Duren, right? 6'10", probably like 250, 260, right? Notice. Out the corner. Rises up, in and out, gets into the middle. Watch the shoulder. Look at the shoulder. Boom, boom, bump, separation. Shot over the top. Come on, man. He's 6'1". This is a small guard. But notice how much contact he's seeking. Because when a defender is moving, they're not strong because they're not set. They're taking steps. So you could dislodge them. You could displace them and be able to get separation, right? But you have to seek it. You have to seek it, and you have to also train yourself for it, right? Boom, he attacks, shoulder getting straight into that hip, gets into the paint, doesn't let this go, right? Gets right back into his body, bump you. He just got 3 feet of separation. Notice he just got 3 feet of separation, although he is a small guard. Come on now. You see the separation. That's because of contact. You got to seek contact, right? Payton Pritchard, 6'1", always seeking contact every drive. He could go lay, he could go midi, doesn't matter. Contact, right? Again here, handoff, right? I believe he's going to miss this shot here, but notice, right? Notice here, McBride brings the ball back out. Patience. You don't got nothing. You don't got to pick up your dribble, nor do you have to force anything, right? So now he's got McBride. Boom. Notice crossover. Stop. Look at his shoulder. Boom. Bump. Separation. Bucket. No, he knocked this one down. Now notice another one against Philadelphia, right? Gets into the paint. Notice. Kicks it out. Still playing. Active. Moving. Contact there. Boom. Stop. Gets here. Spin move. Notice. Contact. Bump. Foul. Come on, man. He ain't stopping looking for contact. And he's continuously moving, right? This is a skill that a lot of y'all don't do. Let's keep it a beat. A lot of y'all don't do this. Where you end up, say, get into the paint, right? And after you get to the paint, you make a play. You just kind of just stand right here in the paint. You just start walking. Payton Pritchard relocates because now he's going to end up forcing the switch. Forcing the switch, now has a closeout. So he rips through, stops, has contact, changes direction. Hang, boom, gets to that left side, then spin move. And then after that spin, where you didn't see any contact for a good bit, what does he do? Bump, You see that. You see that, right? Bump. You got to. It's the only way. It's the only way you can be able to get your shot off. And now he's reaching and grabbing at his arms, and he ends up going to the free throw line. Contact. That's what contact will do for you, right? Now, late game, Celtics down by 3. Nonetheless, watch what he does against Edgecombe. Right here, downhill. Notice what happens. Bump, contact. Got to make sure you out the way. Even though they're kind of giving up that too, right? If you end up getting down there, you don't want to foul. Still, notice what he does. Gets past him, stops, bump. Let me get my lay. Easy, right? Ain't getting blocked over here. So, boom, pay attention. Another situation. Step up screen right here. Tap the hip. Flip that out. Stop. Against Quentin Grimes. 6'5", probably about like 210. Goes, contact, spin. Left arm, still active. Gets here, bump, separation, off one leg, bucket. Trying to tell y'all gotta pay attention. It's contact over anything if you want to be able to get anything. It's contact. Straight up. You just gotta seek contact. A lot of y'all just don't seek enough contact, right? And another thing that he does really well, right? Another thing he does really well is using his pivots. A lot of y'all don't realize he uses his pivots very well, right? So we're gonna take a look at that too. We're gonna take a look at that right here. Payton Pritchard's ability to utilize his pivots. It's not like Jalen Brunson level, right? It's not like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander level, but he still has the ability to do it at a great capacity. So pay attention. Pay attention. Right here, push cross, stops. Notice what happens down here. Notice, he doesn't shoot. He doesn't shoot. A lot of y'all in this situation, what do y'all do? Y'all would stop, you end up pivoting, right? And you'll probably end up trying to force something, or you would even stop. You'll probably end up jumping the pass. Watch what Payton Pritchard does. When he gets into the paint and his dribble is picked up, he doesn't jump the pass. He doesn't force a pass. He pivots and waits for a passing opportunity, and then he gives it up. And now notice what happens. Now Derek White is able to get to his spot, and he gets a dime. He gets a dime. Because at this position, understand, when you get into the paint and you actually decide to conserve your pivots and just wait and be patient, right? Notice how the defense has to find where their man is. On the weak side, you have Murphy, right, who's guarding Derek White, and his back is turned away from him. He can't see both of the ball and his man. Now Jordan Poole, eyes stuck on the ball. He can't see the ball and his man. Now even here, Herb Jones, you can even see how he has to have an arm to touch so that he knows where his man is. Now even with the big, he is still completely on the ball. So everybody on defense is vulnerable. So Derek White is going to take advantage of this exactly right here, and he's going to move around. So now he's going to end up finding himself an open spot, right? And that happens because of Payton Pritchard stopping and using his pivots. So now he ends up curling off of this from this cut in the mid-range. Boom, 2 dribbles and gets to a pull-up right there at the elbow. Bucket, right? Use your pivots. When you get into the paint, you don't have anything. Stop, wait, stay patient, protect the ball. Use your pivots. I'm trying to tell y'all. Your coach probably says it so much, but you just need to sometimes see it physically. You just need to see it physically, just like a play like that, right? Another situation, out the corner, right? Out the corner. Notice, bump, spin, pivot away. Bucket. That's a bucket. Simple buckets, right? Hard closeout, bigger defender, probably around about 6'6", right? Notice, gets all the way down to the paint. And then when he gets here, right, notice what he decides to do with the shoulder when he gets right next to the paint. Watch what he does. This is key. Bump, separation. He just got about, how many feet of separation that was? Probably about 2 to 3 feet of separation just from that one bump alone. That bump and then spin, utilizing what? His pivot. Utilizing his pivot, right? Got to that stop, spun away, fade, bucket. You need to add them. You need to add the bump. You need to add the pivots, right? Next play here. Next play here. Pay attention. Let's speed this up. Boom. Mind you, notice the shot clock. Notice the shot clock. 11 seconds. 11 seconds. Right? So this is a secondary action. This is where you have to go and get a bucket. This is where you don't have time to be able to run a whole entire set or a motion offense. You have a shot clock, right? So boom. Now he ends up going left. He has Trey Murphy. Another defender, probably like 6'8". Long wingspan, 7-foot wingspan probably. Goes and gets into the paint. Stops. Pivot, fade. Bucket. Come on, man. It's great basketball. That's great basketball. This is small guard skills you need to add, right? When you get in the paint, you have patience. This is what patience looks like. He gets here, you have nothing on this drop, right? You end up saying, okay, I don't have anything here with Kate on that. I don't have this lift man over here. I may not have any angles to pass. So he stops here for a second. He shot fakes, right? First, notice the shot fake. Shot fake, he doesn't really bite. He gets back in front. Boom. Step through there. Step back over there. Pivot, separation. He led him with that first step in, and then he spun out to get more room. So now, guess what happens? Fade, wide open, bucket. Pivots. You get separation by using what? Pivots. You got to add it. What? Pivots. I'm trying to tell y'all. Notice here too, right? This is about to be off the spot up. Space in the floor, right? Catch, off the catch immediately. Puts the ball down. Bump, stop, pump fake, step through. Pivots. Guess what? And one. And one. Understand. That's how you get separation. That's how you're able to put your defender in a bad position, right? And mind you, this Duncan Robinson matchup, he loved to attack that. I'm about to break that down in the community. Breakdowns dropping next week in the community, probably Monday, Tuesday. Got 28 breakdowns on from between Trae Young, Luka Doncic, Payton Pritchard, and Donovan Mitchell. Got 28. You about to be locked and loaded. Locked and loaded. So right here, bump first and foremost, contact on the drive, gets into space, pump fake. He bites on that because the contact by separation, step through, bump on that shoulder, and one. And one. I'm trying to tell y'all. Pivots. Another situation right here. This is one of the shots that he missed, I believe, right? But nonetheless, great opportunity. Catch, rip through to that left. Guess what? Bump, even though he did travel, left foot pivot, switched it. Nonetheless, fade away right there. Right? Fade away, missed that short. Pay attention. Y'all got to add pivots. You need to add pivots to your game, right? If you don't have pivots to your game, you need to add them. If this is something that's what you're like, dang, I really don't do, begin to incorporate it. Begin to do it. And I promise you, just stay more patient. Don't drive at 100%, drive at 90%. And watch how your game changes, right? Watch how your game changes when you say, all right, let me go, actually go 80%. I want you to tell yourself, I'm going to go 80%. Right? I'm going to go 80%. I'm never going to drive my absolute hardest. I'm never going to go my fastest. I'm going to stay at about 80%. Right? I want you just to stay right there. Stay in that range. And I watch how your game will change. Watch the fruit that you'll reap. And come back to the stream and testify about, oh, dang, I didn't even realize that. Okay, I'm trying to tell y'all. Right? Trying to tell y'all. So, let me read this comment right here. Any tips for I played last 5 years at 5'8", 5'10"? As a freshman and the whole summer I worked to translate into a guard on sophomore. Bro, everything I've been breaking down. Every Saturday I'm going to be breaking stuff like this down. Every Saturday like this, bro. Every Saturday. So I just encourage y'all, right? I just encourage y'all to just improve, to begin to incorporate the things I'm speaking of. And if you really do want to get better, if you really do want to improve, right? This is the best place for you right here. The community. Join the community. Right? Link in the description if you actually want to choose discipline and invest into your future, because tomorrow's not promised, nor are your dreams and your goals. You need to begin to take steps in the right direction so that you could be able to get to where you desire to be. You could accomplish your goals and actually walk into your calling and have those desires of your heart actually be fulfilled in the right way. Right? So if you want to actually get better, join the community. Link in the description. There have been people who have quadrupled their scoring average. There have been people who've been like doubled their stats, going from 10 and 5 to 20 and 10. Like, there's people like, bro, I'm telling you, when you take heed to the mental, it actually allows all the work that you put in physically to actually reap fruit. You actually start to reap fruit when you begin to learn how to use the mental side of the game. So this is all the mental side of the game, right? And if you know you lack that, join the community. If you really want to take the game serious, join the community. If you're half and half in basketball, honestly, you better save your money. You got to question yourself on what you truly want. I only want people who are actually trying to get better, man. You got to ask yourself, do you want to get better? Straight up. So with that said, that's going to be the end of today's stream. And we're going to be live again next Saturday. And we're going to be breaking down small guard skills. But throughout the week, turn on your notifications because we're going to be doing breakdowns throughout the week out of stream. So make sure you're ready for those as well. So make sure you got your notifications on. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure that you continuously tune in. And hello 123 said last week I got comfort my 8th grade team. Then I got a fear for 5 days. What should you do? Begin to learn your game. Learn the game the right way. You probably don't know how to train the right way. You probably don't know how to think the game the right way. You probably don't know how to just operate. You may have even started the game late, right? Started playing basketball late. You don't have the reps and don't have the experience. The best thing that you could do is invest into things that could expedite that time period of you being able to get from the position you are, where you're not able to make the team, to then in your freshman year to being able to make the team. When I was in 8th grade, I averaged 2 points. I made the team, but I averaged 2 points. I was still sorry. But then when I ended up going in high school, I ended up averaging more points in each year in high school than I did when I was in 8th grade. Why? Because I began to learn the game. Right? Began to actually learn the game and began to change things. Began to realize, okay, this is that. Boom, boom. Train here. Boom, boom. And I'm trying to help y'all so you don't have to go through that whole 5-year process that I went through, where although I did get better, I could have been a lot better if I actually began to learn exactly what worked. Right? If I took everything I knew at the end, like say I took everything I know right now, gave it to my 8th grade self, I would have, by the time I was a senior, been going D1 easily, without a doubt in my mind. I would have helped myself increase my vert 10 inches and get athletic. I would have been able to teach myself the mental part of the game. I would have taught myself how to actually train to get in-game results. And I would have done that for a period of 4 years, from 8th grade to 4 to 5 years between 8th grade and senior year. And I would have went D1 automatically. I promise you. If I gave myself what I know now and I gave it to myself in 8th grade, I would have went D1 easily. I still went NAI. I went to an NAI school on a COVID year. So it's just like NAI is like a D2 level-ish in that range, right? But nonetheless, I would have went D1 automatic, no doubt in my mind. If I knew the things that worked versus the things that didn't work. It's just a matter of knowledge. It's a matter of knowledge to begin. Knowing what works, knowing what doesn't work. And so you need to begin to know the things that do work so now you can apply it to your game. So make sure you actually begin to make those investments, right? And so if you really, like I said, if you want to take the game serious, join the community. If you're not, you got to really assess what you want out of life, because you only live one life. You only live one life, and you don't get time back. So, yeah, man, that's what I could say. And every Saturday, make sure you tune in. We break it down small guard skills and be dropping gems. Make sure you follow on Instagram, TikTok, all the pages. We have different forms of content on everywhere. So, but if you're somebody who actually really wants to get better, the community is for you, and that's where you're gonna have all the content that you need. So, with that being said, we're gonna be live again next Saturday about 3 p.m. EST. So lock in, join up, and we're going to be dropping more gems. So discipline or regret, you choose.